All right, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. We're live. Woohoo! Yeah. All right, everybody. Okay, so this is the Dr. Action and After Movie Diner Expendables 3 discussion. Not 1, not 2, but 3. And tonight our panelists are the very special and wonderful Chris Burns. Say hello, sir.
Hello.
And where are you from again? Cinematronics?
Yes, I'm from a little village called Lymm, which is in Cheshire, which is just outside Manchester. So I'm basically a general northerner.
Nice. And what websites and stuff and podcasts
Oh, yes.
do you do?
I do 2 podcasts, The Action Junkies and The Inglorious Bastards, and they're all over at thegeeksoapbox.com.
Lovely. And my right-hand man in all things action, or rather I'm his right-hand man, or maybe I'm his left-hand man. Who knows? It is... Who can tell? The magic of...
Whatever night you fancy, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Well, if I do it with my left hand, it feels like someone else is doing it. So it's Dr. Action himself, Dr. Action!
Hello! Hello, how is everybody tonight?
Fine.
We're all good, sir. Yes, thank
You're all
you.
good. You just go blank. Oh, just ignore him.
Yeah, no, we were hoping you would talk some more. No, I was just letting people know on Facebook that we have started and that they can see us live now.
I bet there's a hot bevy of beautiful women tuning in thinking, handsome men on the internet tonight. I'll watch that.
Frigging themselves rotten with a parsnip.
With a parsnip.
With a parsnip, classy broads that they are. And lastly, but by no means leastly, my ukulele benefactor, the man who has overtaken me as the beard, the one, the only, Gary Hill is here in voice at least. Gary, say hello.
Hello, Gary. I'm fine. Just trying to get this video happening. It should happen pretty soon, actually. But how you guys doing today?
We're very good, sir. We're very good. And, yeah, we can't wait to see you and see the beard in full HD 3D splendor. Coming at you with the beard! That's what we're hoping. But until then, sir, why don't you tell the folks where they can find you online and who the bloody hell you are?
You can find me as the Beard on the Bird and the Beard at birdtrumpsbeard.blogspot.com. You can listen to it there.
It really doesn't. The beard trumps bird.
No, she is amazing. I can't help these things. And
well, only because she posts scantily clad pictures of herself.
Well, that does help things. Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. But what I mean is, in reality, a beard trumps everything. So.
And you can also find me on the Sin of Beef podcast, doing that thing at sinofbeefpodcast.blogspot.com. You can find both of those shows on legionpodcast.com, which would be an easier place to find them, when I start posting them and be a little less lazy. But, life gets in the way and laziness gets in the way and whatever.
Doesn't it indeed? Okay, well, I saw this at the cinema for the first time yesterday, as I believe so did Doc. Am I correct?
Yes, I saw it last night.
Okay, great. And Chris and Gary, I believe you were some of the scoundrels that watched it once it was downloaded. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm guilty. I am guilty of it, yeah. But
Did you leak it?
No, but I fully intend to actually go and watch it. I wanted to watch it in the cinema before this.
You didn't leak it, sir, so...
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But I did.
New Image is watching this, taking down your address. He said yeah, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he does which podcast? We will track him down, and the full might of New Image will come and beat the living daylights out of you.
Sylvester Stallone beat you broke my rules.
Stacey will be like, why'd you download it, you cunt?
You fucking download my film for. I'm going to quit for that.
Yeah, I'll just get a knock on the door and I'll just get a swift roundhouse kick to the face.
Yeah. And Arnie will be behind him. Yeah, I'm calling him. I've got to sit on your face and pummel your dick for downloading our movie.
I stand by the classic mom caught me with a joint line. I'm just holding it for a friend, okay? And that's exactly what happened.
I say the same thing about Doc's dick all the time. I mean, sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's get it started off. I saw it yesterday. Doc saw it yesterday. The other guys have seen it for a while. Should we start with general overviews and then break it down? What do you reckon?
Sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's do that. Who we're going for first?
Well, so before we start, I want to warn anyone watching this who hasn't seen the film. While I will certainly try and not spoil it, I will actually be spoiling it quite a lot. So, as you have been warned, warning, there will be spoilers. There will be spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, turn off now. Considering we only have 2 viewers, don't think it matters. But let's start with Chris then. We'll go Chris, Doc, Gary, me. General overview. Let's not go too deep into it straight away, but general overview, Chris.
Okay, general overview. I really enjoy it. I think it's finely paced. I think it's really enjoyable action film. I think the first 20 minutes just hit you like a brick. It's like 2 great action scenes just back to back. I feel Snipes just a welcome return, and Mel Gibson is probably the best baddie I've seen in a long while. I don't know why he's not doing more bad guy roles. I think he's a perfect villain in this. Don't know about what you guys think.
Okay,
Yeah,
Doc.
perfect then. Overview, very, very fun. I hated the kids. I really hated the kids. Ken and Lutz is fucking abysmal.
I didn't mind him so much. That was the thing.
His name is Ellen Klutz. That's his name.
Yeah, Ellen Klutz. Ronda Rousey's fighting's good. I hope she doesn't have to save my life by acting. I'm dead. And the other 2 are just... I mean, I can't really get into how bad one of them is till the very end, because that'll just spoil it. But,
is it the hacker one?
Yeah, the dolphin rumour.
Glenn Powell, who on the Expendables 3 on the Expendables 3 website actually admitted that his hobby was dolphin grooming. So Glenn Powell on this podcast will be forever known as the dolphin fucker.
But I've got huge problems with it. But the action scene, especially the last one at the end, is awesome. It's really good. The 12.
The 30 minutes of just pure shooting and fighting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. There's no complaints there. And that 12A rating PG-13, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter at all. All they've done is they've just not added the CGI blood.
Yeah, and then a few I reckon there's a few cuts where they cut away a bit sooner than they would have done. For a bit more graphic, like face punching and neck breaks, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
there'll be an R-rated one.
There's going to be an unrated Blu-ray. I'm sure of it. You can actually see where the cuts are.
Yeah.
Will the unrated Blu-ray, do we think, include the scene where Statham takes Rousey violently over the card table while the building's
fucking
going around them?
Yeah.
One can only hope.
I like the idea that Statham, while they were filming that end fight scene, went up to Rousey and went, No, if you don't fuck me right now, my heart will give out. Haven't you seen the film? We're going to do it right now in the dust.
It's Expendables 3, it's crank 3.
Okay then, Gary, general overview, sir. It's your turn.
I think that this was my favorite one of the 3, and it's going to be probably controversial. Because I think the first one, as a whole, is kind of boring compared to the other ones. I don't know how to explain this, but no, call me crazy. I don't think I'm sorry. I don't think it's stupid. But this one, I enjoy this one. Not leaps and bounds, but I enjoy this one the most. They all have their strengths. It's just this one I enjoyed the most, and I like half of the new characters. I thought Kelsey Grammer's small role was great in the movie.
Yeah. Kelsey Grammer was good in it.
Everyone in this movie proved what I've been saying all along, that if you're over 45, you're really good in an Expendables movie. And if you're under 45, you should be in an Expendables movie. Gary, sorry, back to you.
Oh, you're fine. Like I say, Ronda Rousey was great. I think I was waiting for her to just throw down, and promise fulfilled there, I guess. Just beat the crap out of people. There wasn't a lot.
You mean
I'm sorry.
Ronda? You mean Ronda one move Rousey?
Hey, that one move works for me. I don't know what it is. But there wasn't a lot of lovey-dovey stuff, which you get that in action films, and I understand that you need to throw a love interest in there, and doing her thing, and
Well, was there like really a love interest one? Because they had that in the first two, didn't they?
even
They
With
kind of
Stallone.
did.
And and they kind of not bothered with this one, which I kind of liked. It's like, oh, thank you.
Well, they had Banderas going up to Rousey in the best bit where it was like, your name means Luna, it means moon. It was like amazing, that whole bit. And he was like, I was thinking about you.
Hey, go to it. There you go, let's go.
Show us
Hey,
the beard,
guys.
Gary.
Yay!
The beard! Gary, make some noise so that the camera goes to you.
this is the taste, guys. The beard for you, just a little bit.
Oh my goodness, it's a thing of beauty.
There's the beard against the microphone for you guys. Okay.
Hang on a second. No, I'm kidding. That's a miraculous beard. Okay, so sorry, finish off your general overview.
Yeah, I wasn't hating on the first film at all. Really, I just don't like it like I like the other ones. I think that this one everybody was pretty much used to their strengths, and and the Kellen Lutz's review and the hacker fellow to their weaknesses. I thought Antonio was great, Wesley was great, probably my favorite. Probably not my favorite, but it's definitely up there my favorite roles of his that I've seen so far. And I'd love to see a Statham Snipes spin-off of this movie, just to throw him like in a different country, just throwing knives at people and shit. And
I want multiple spin-offs of this film. I want an Arnie and Jet Li buddy movie. I want a Jet Li and Dolph Lundgren movie. I want a Statham solo movie from this. I want all these things.
Yeah, no, I agree, Chris. I want a spin-off where all the young ones get trapped in a mine and then the mine gets blown up.
A snuff movie.
Sorry to interrupt you, Chris. Sorry.
No. It's basically it. Like, I think Stallone himself said he thinks he's aiming towards that kind of Marvel universe thing where they can sort of come off and go their own ways and then come back together for an Expendables film. I'd be totally down for that. I want as many of these types of things as possible, and I'd even watch the young ones in their own solo film with Stallone as their like kind of mentor, going giving advice.
Steady on, sir. Steady on.
I mean, don't be wrong. I'd much rather see the other opportunities, but I'd happily watch that one.
Right. Okay. Yes.
I know you basically disagree with me now.
No, I agree with all. I agree. Like the thing was, I watched the press conference yesterday as well, and I heard Stallone talking about if he had his wish, if he had his dream, there would be all these spin-offs and stuff. And Doc and I have talked about doing an Asian spin-off with like Jet Li's crew, and maybe having like Donnie Yen and Sammo Hung and Chow Yun-fat and Jackie Chan and a whole bunch of those. We've talked about having a Brit Expendables one where you have Darren Shalavi and Gary Daniels and Scott Adkins and Jason Statham and Michael Caine and Ray Winston and like you name it, like you just keep going kind of thing. And Helen Mirren, Ronnie Corbett, yeah. And
Roger Moore, of course.
And Roger Moore. Oh, of course. You have to have Roger Moore. I have to be there to bang Helen Mirren.
Somebody for all the ladies.
But ultimately, the two sad things is that I think it's sad that this one was leaked for two reasons. A, because I think it's not the best one. I think it's the worst one. I don't think it's a bad movie, but I think it's the worst one. And I think it's also sad that it got leaked because if it does lose money, then we're not going to get the spin-offs and all the like Marvel Universe type thing that he wants to do with it. Like, I would love that. I'd be quite happy, I've said before, to watch an Expendables movie every year, even if it was this one every year, just as long as he took a page out of the second film and killed one of the young ones each film. I would be absolutely fine with it. Or all four in one. No, okay, so my overview before we get into, because we've gone off on a tangent, but my overview basically is that the first act and the third act of this movie would be a 3 or a 4 out of 5, but the middle act of this movie was like a 1 out of 5. That was when I watched it first of all. I've subsequently then watched part of a screener, not the downloaded leaked copy, but part of a screener I was sent. Honestly, part of a screener that I was sent last night, and I rewatched it. And actually, a second time, the film is better because the second time the film goes quicker because you know what's going to happen. My main problem with watching it the first time in the cinema was that the whole storyline with the young'uns is kind of irrelevant because you know what's going to happen. So you're sat there going, okay, wait for them to get captured, wait for them to get captured, wait for them to get captured. You're like, why am I sat here watching this like long drawn out, let's get this new group of people together. Then when the new group of people together are there, they're really shitty to the old group, which is the reason why we go into the movie in the first place. And then, which is annoying. And then there's this whole like Mission Impossible sequence, which doesn't really work out because it's not done as well or as flashy or as interesting as any of the Mission Impossible films, and kind of doesn't really fit in an Expendables movie. And then the old team show back up again, and it's great to see the old team back, but there isn't like enough of a fanfare or an hurrah or a sort of big moment. It should have been, I've said before, it should have been like Stallone and Schwarzenegger at the airfield when the team have been captured and Stallone has been injured, and he goes back to the airfield and Schwarzenegger is there. And Conrad should have sent another small team to the airfield, and then while Stallone and Schwarzenegger were fighting, all of a sudden one of this small team of bad guys gets like a knife in the face, like right down in the middle of his face, and then he pulls it out and the body falls away and it's just Statham, and he's like, you can't do without me, you can't. And then the music goes bam ba ba dam ba ba da da, and Statham comes in and it's amazing. That's what it should have been. I'm getting excited just thinking about that, and it wasn't in the, rather than him just showing up and being like, well, whatever, get us on the plane, you arsehole, whatever, like, which was fine and everything, and Brian Tyler tried to do his very best with the music to kind of accentuate that moment and all the rest of it. But basically, I feel like my main problem for hating the young ones was that apart from them being really bad actors, and apart from it they were just all awful.
Yeah, I agree.
And apart from them being really bad actors, it ground the film to a halt. But on an actual, let's look at it logically. First of all, making this one the one that's PG-13 and putting it out to a wide audience, but then making the plot all about what it means to be an expendable and the past of the Expendables meeting the present of the Expendables, and having like, you can't really watch the third one without having seen the first two, really, because there's not enough time to reestablish the dynamic of all the characters, and there's not enough time to like establish what the Expendables mean or who the Expendables are. So the only reason Conrad has any weight, or Snipes coming in has any weight, or any of it has any weight, is because of the first two movies. So making the third one the one that you want to show to everyone is like a bad idea. And then having the new guys come in, which no fan of this series wants, okay? You're doing it purely to get a wider audience. But you've already fucked that because you've made the story something that needs the older audience to appreciate it. But even so, let's say, okay, there's a new audience watching this. How are you meant to like the new team where the first 15 minutes of the movie, which are amazing, there's this great action sequence. I mean, it's not as good as part one or part two in any stretch of the imagination, but it's a good action sequence at the beginning. And you're like, okay, I'm invested in this team, I'm invested in these people. There's a big incident that happens that I'm not going to spoil, but there's a big incident that happens that really brings this team together. So you're watching it as an audience member, and you're like, okay, so this is the team, here we are, we're following them. Oh, wait a minute, no. and it just grinds everything to a halt with what Stallone's character decides to do. Then the movie starts again. We almost have to ignore everything that happened in the first 16 minutes, and then the movie starts again with this whole we're getting the team together. Well, I don't. And then when the team gets together, they're really shitty to the people you've just watched for the first 20 minutes and invested in. Even if you're a new audience member. And if you're an old audience member, you're like, hey, don't talk to fucking Lundgren like that, you little shit. He could break your legs. So it's like I didn't really understand.
To be fair, the old Expendables are shitty towards the young ones initially. I think
with
it's
every
like
right.
Right, but they have every right to.
well, I'm just saying. So it's like kind of like who the fuck are you? Well, who the fuck are you? It's like one of those.
Yeah,
like,
I get that. But the problem is, we've got 2 films worth of baggage with these people, so we're never going to side with the guy from Twilight.
I think Stallone's
Transporter series, Twilight series. Oh, Transporter. Stupid tweens.
I think the idea of bringing the young ones is just kind of like Stallone trying to bring in something new, and so maybe you know what? There's not really any action film stars, so let's make some new action film stars. I think maybe that's what Stallone's got in the back of his head, rather than trying to like let's keep it young and youthful and fresh. I think he's more kind of well, no, let's make the Expendables more than that. It's not just the old guys. Let's make some new action guys our own, because there's not many of them about. It's all superheroes and comic book films now. So
I totally get that, but he does it to the storyline is where he gets rid of the Expendables is really shitty to the characters that we've got really used to.
Yeah, so but I think it's understandable though. I mean, I totally bought these reasonings why, because you understand, because it's he's...
my feeling was, Chris, if you had it so that it's established in the first few minutes when we meet Mel Gibson's character. And by the way, Mel Gibson's amazing in this movie. Snipes is amazing in this movie. Ford is
just the look in his eyes, just as like he's just telling he's just an evil fucking cunt, and just
all the older actors bring their A game. Every single one of them. Banderas is amazing. Snipes is amazing. Ford is amazing. Grammer is. I loved all of them. It was great. I really did. So when we first meet Gibson, it's like we're gonna need. He's got a whole fucking army. And Snipes mentions, oh, we used to be 22 Expendables. He mentions that in a conversation. So I would have had no problem, right, Chris, following your line of logic, which I agree with. I would have had no problem them building the team up, right, with added people, some of whom could have been young. I would have had no problem with that. You could have added a bunch of older guys, but you could have also added a bunch of younger guys. No argument with that at all, because you'd already established that the villain was someone who needed an army to take down, right? And we already know from the trailer, right, that the young'uns get kidnapped and therefore the oldies are going to come back in anyway. We already know that from the trailer. So I have to say that while I agree, yes, Stallone wants to like introduce new action stars, Scott Adkins, I know he did it. I know in the second one, but
he was wasted in. I think should have had more Scott Adkins and Van Damme in number 2.
He plays a Russian with a beard in the second one. He could have shaved his head, shaved his face, and come in as like Statham's brother in this one without any problem. Darren Shalavi should have been in it. He's still fairly young. I wouldn't have even minded, like, I don't know, a Matt Damon or something, or I mean, someone who's done, or Jeremy Renner, or like someone.
Wasn't Nick Cage going to be like the Kelsey Grammer role or something?
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, but I mean that would have been pretty thankless for Cage.
Yeah.
I'm aware Gary hasn't said anything, so I'll give you a chance to second, Gary. But I just wanted to finish my thought. Basically, you first of all, you don't need the young ones kidnapped because they already have a personal reason, 2 personal reasons to go after Stonebanks. They already have a reason. So narratively, it doesn't make any sense. It just drags the movie out and makes the second act completely irrelevant. You don't need it. You already have a personal revenge mission and also a I should have killed you in the past and I thought I had but I didn't bit from Stallone. So you have your reasoning.
I think the thing with Mel Gibson Stonebanks is the fact that the way Stallone, Barney Ross.
Yeah.
That's what's crushing him. He doesn't give a shit if he dies. It's the other piece, so that's why he cuts his ties with the Expendables.
No, I
So,
understand.
so he brings in these new guys, and then these guys get captured. Now they're like, shit, I've done it again. So it becomes it becomes like more. Then it's more that kind of shit. I've done and made the same mistakes again, and now it's like, well, you know what? You need your friends to get you out of this fucking hole. Let's fucking do this together, and then that's what happens, and that's
Yeah, it's
essentially what
just it wasn't. Well, in
yeah.
which case it wasn't. I mean, I'm glad you saw it that way. I really am, but it wasn't written or acted well enough for that.
That's
Then, if
fair,
that's the reason.
fair enough. I mean, the young ones could have been
Um,
better, but
because to
I didn't
because to
mind. I didn't
me,
mind them as much. I think that's what really
right.
is.
Because to me, bringing the youngins in and then getting them kidnapped and making that the impetus for going to get Stonebanks completely and utterly glossed over and ruined the original reason. And like I didn't watch it in the way you clearly watched it. Like I watched it, feeling like it's sort of a repetitive thing.
Mm-hmm.
The first act and the second act do exactly, narratively speaking. I just mean narratively. I'm just talking from a script point of view. Narratively speaking, they do the same thing. Anyway, I've got lots more points, but Gary, go ahead, and Doc, go ahead, say some stuff.
Gary.
I think the thing with the young ones was, especially them going to rescue them. They had the whole. Mel Gibson had that whole speech in the van after, of course, they abduct him so easily that this is an action film. It wasn't not gonna be that easy. So about how Barney basically doesn't care about his teammates, and they got bumped off and he didn't care. So I guess the whole point of them going to rescue them was, of course, to show that Barney does care about his teammates. And I think the point of adding these new people, as good or bad as they are, is that they have not so few team members, but I want to call Jet Li an absentee team member because he's making so much more films in Asia than in America.
Right.
So he can't do very much in the films because he's so busy over there. So,
but at least he shows up. Like
he does show up, yes, in a very bromance sense with Trench there, and that was kind of funny.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like at least Jet Li shows up. Like fair play. Like it doesn't matter whether he's only in these movies for 5 minutes. I would rather he actually show up than not show up at all.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And I actually really liked that helicopter sequence with him, Ford, and Schwarzenegger at the end. I really enjoyed that.
You want to say, don't get cocky, kids, so bad, I can tell, but Lucas probably threw his ass off. Everybody else say their lines.
Yeah.
But I really like the humor in the film, though. Did I also pick up on the sort of like humor that they kept like referencing, like the other films and the things that surround the films, like with Bruce Willis dropping out and.
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought that there was a lot less in this than in the other two. I actually thought that this one, if anything, was more seriously written and seriously acted than the other ones. Not in a bad way, in a welcome way. I enjoyed it. I loved the knife before Christmas line. I thought that was great.
Mm-hmm. I think what the key was, it was they were just rattling through it. They weren't like hitting you over the head with a big sledgehammer, and they weren't lingering on it too long. It was like they just throw it in and like just move on to the next thing. They don't sort of. So it's just there. Go, I see what I did then. And you just go straight onto it. I mean, I think that's one of the things where I liked about it. It went like with the plot, and it just went. It just kind of like it felt energetic to me. The
second time I watched it, definitely. The first time I watched it because I knew that the arc of the second act, I wasn't into it so much. What I will agree with you, Gary, is I think that the second act, when they get kidnapped or before they get kidnapped, allows Gibson to have his moments. And I really, really, really appreciated Gibson in this movie. I really liked him. I thought he was so much better in this than he was in Machete Kills.
Definitely.
Everyone's better in Machete. Anyway, sorry. But I totally agree. I mean, that scene in the van where you just basically just chews the fucking scenery, just basically chews out Stallone.
Yeah.
He's basically Martin Riggs gone wrong.
Yeah.
Well, that's basically it.
Yeah. But he's great in it. Mel Gibson's fantastic in it.
I thought Ford was really good in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen some later movies with Ford where I'm like, wake up! Like, you know.
Ford looked like he was having fun.
Mm.
Yeah, and him going, what does he say? Drummers bringing it, or drummers here, or something. He says when he's in the helicopter, it's really great. And then he's like, come on, lads, let's change the tempo and all that. I was just like, this is awesome. I want to watch Ford quipping wise and dropping bombs.
He does more in it than Bruce Willis did in the second one.
Oh, fuck yeah, he does more in it than I was expecting. I mean, he's in like 4 or 5 big scenes.
I thought it'd be like 5 minutes tops and he's out, but he keeps turning up and he really is good in it.
Well, Stallone said that apparently they're like old friends. I never even knew, but apparently they used to go on auditions together in the 70s when they were both like struggling actors and would like complain that they were never going to get parts.
That's so random.
And apparently that's how they're old mates, and they've known each other for like longer almost than he's known Schwarzenegger.
That's insane. Just think we could have had a Tango Cash, but with Ford and Stallone. Maybe
I would still watch it. I would still watch it.
Rambo and Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
exactly.
That'd be awesome.
It would. With Gary Hill in the background just stroking his beard.
Yeah. I demand Hollywood only put Gary Hill in films now. Stroking his beard.
I thought it was one of the best things about this movie that, you know, the whole controversy of Bruce Willis wanting to get paid more money and blah, 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 and, you know, they cut him out entirely, replaced him with a bunch of other people, and they made a much better film than if he would have been in it, really, in my opinion.
Yeah, because Willis is another one that in the first 2 movies he really annoys me because I feel like...
He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, there's 2 types of Willis, and it really shows up on camera. It really, really shows up on camera. There's like original Die Hard Willis, but when he's in a movie he cares about, he's really, really good. And then there's Cop Out, Die Hard 5, Expendables 2 Willis.
Paycheck Willis.
Yeah, he just doesn't give a shit. And it shows, it really fucking shows. And he was terrible in those. So I'm actually glad I didn't miss him at all. I was actually glad he wasn't back because I loved Ford so much in this film, and I really enjoyed the fact that there was they went on about the whole PG-13 thing, but there was more swearing in this than there have been in any of the other movies. I mean, they say shit about 15 times, and I think there's at least 2 fucks in it as well, especially Ford going up to Stallone going, "You fucked it up," like that.
Yeah, he proper chews out Stallone in the election in his first scene. He's just like, "You fucked up."
And then he turns around and then he goes, "But it was lovely to meet you, Barney," like that. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. There was I think that's the biggest shame for me is that there is so much to enjoy in the movie that with just a bit of a rewrite, and look, I'll accept that either Stallone wants to create new action heroes and or the studio when we need a bigger audience. And I don't mind there not being gore, and I don't mind, them having the new people in it. If it was, my only point is you don't narratively need to get rid of the old team. It would have been so much better. Imagine the banter, right? If the old team had gone round with Kelsey Grammer, picking out new people, and imagine like the little like banter you could have had behind that, and you could have made it a lot more exciting.
What was Statham going like? Who the fuck's this cunt? Like,
they wouldn't have picked anyone. Fuck him. Fuck her. Fuck me.
No,
just
but
throw knives into them all.
Also, it was like I was watching. There's a really funny review that our friend Philip posted in the Facebook group the other day, and I forget the guy who does them, but he does a lot of action reviews. I'm going to try and find his name now, but he brought up a good point, and that was he was saying, his name is Matt Roller. Who does a lot of stuff on YouTube, some great reviews and stuff on YouTube under movie review or I don't know what it is, old school. Anyway, he does a lot of old school action stuff, and he's really good. And he made a point that out of all the people you go see, right, you've got Glenn Dolphin Fucker Powell, right, who on top of fucking dolphins wants to also fuck The Rock because he's holding on to this cliff face in like I think it's meant to be a slight joke on cliffhanger because Stallone kind of goes, "Oh, I can do that." Anyway, he looks over to like a slight rocky outcrop and goes, "You know what? I need to be on you." And I'm like, what is this? This kind of weird sexual, I need to be on you. He goes to grab it, The Rock falls away, and then he turns into a CGI action man as his CGI parachute opens and flies away. So that's utterly tedious. Why you'd hire that guy, I've no idea. I'm like, well, he can't even rock
Also,
climb.
can I add that when it came to like the big action scene at the end, he
Oh,
spent the time
elevator shot.
climbing up a lift shaft, and that was it. I don't think he actually had any purpose of. He was
No.
like, yeah, I'm just gonna climb this.
But
Yeah.
did you see him? I mean, he doesn't have any purpose anyway. I mean, he
Well,
looks like a...
he's the guy with the computer who can like so you can stop the bomb and then can do all the.
Yeah, but again, that was like
Yeah.
that was ridiculous. If you had you could have had Jet Li show up at that point, right? Let's say Jet Li or whatever, or let's say Jet Li was in the whole movie, or let's say who knows? If Jet Li had shown up and gone, I know how to do this, and like had fiddled with some stuff, pressed a button, and you don't need a computer technician, is what I'm saying. Anyone could have fucking done that. In fact, what am I saying? Gunnar is meant to have gone to MIT, and yes, he's fucked his brain up with drugs, but Gunnar, like, let Gunnar have his fucking moment. Like, it doesn't. You don't need.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you have Dolphin fuck a pal. He was awful.
Ortiz. Longer.
Yeah, Ortiz fires one gun. That's all he does. He fires one bullet out of one gun into some CGI asylum movie style explosions, right? So why you'd hire him, no idea. Fucking Ellen Klutz loses a fight for money, right? And is no good at doing anything, seemingly, except being a stroppy, whiny cunt who needs to be throat punched by Liam Neeson repeatedly, right? Why you'd hire him, no idea. And then you have Ronda Rousey, who's a bouncer who breaks the law by, instead of restraining the people having a fight in her club, smashing them over the head with a bottle. Now, out of the four of them, Rousey is the only one I could possibly understand you hiring because, let's be fair, Christmas needs someone to fuck. So I completely understand. Because Charisma Carpenter, not in this movie. Sir not appearing in this film, Charisma Carpenter, right? But the only person who actually shows they have any talent is Antonio Banderas, and they get angry with him and walk away. I'm like, no, he just showed you he had talent, whilst the other four showed you absolutely nothing of any worth.
Can I just point out while we're on Banderas, does anyone think his character could have easily just been cut out and it would not have made any difference whatsoever?
But it wouldn't have been as good a film.
Yeah, he made it.
I think he's going to be a bit of a Marmite people. I think he's going to... A lot of people going to enjoy him, and I think equally amount of people are going to get irritated by him.
Him in the... I think honestly, from statements they made at the press conference, that if there is another one, or if there is a spin-off, Banderas will be in it. Banderas seems incredibly excited about doing more of these movies.
I'd welcome that. I think he was great.
Yeah, no, he proper went for it. I personally would have preferred him to play bad guy myself, but maybe
I liked him in the final fight going, this is the best time of my life! I loved that. I thought it was amazing.
He does more than any of those kids do put together. He's talking while he's shooting. He's great in it.
He's wooing Ronda Rousey to the point where she's visibly moist. Your name is Luna. It's Mina the Moon. And then he's like running around shooting.
Yeah, he just runs off and starts shooting thing. Yeah.
I mean, you know, it was such a shame that they, you know, and then so that was all a problem. But so I didn't really understand any of that, and it could have been done so much quicker. My main problem on the technical side was that whatever the video stock is they're using, it looks like an asylum movie. For a movie that is $100 million budget plus, the CGI looked terrible, like awful throughout the film. It would really bother me they weren't real explosions. It really, really bothered me. I just watched the first and second one back to back before I went to see this one, and this one looks like the DTV version of the first and second ones in terms of the way it looks. And I don't know whether it's the director or whether it's the editor, but the editing was atrocious. The continuity was really bad. Even outside of the action sequence, which I thought was weirdly choppily edited, where you were having to follow 4 different fights all at once rather than montaging it better, they kind of went between the helicopter to Statham fighting the big guy to Banderas wooing Rousey to Stallone being pinned down to and you were following all of these strains rather than it being easier or better or more fluid. But that editing aside, there is specifically when Christmas, Snipes, and Stallone are talking in the plane at the beginning, the continuity with Statham doesn't match at all. And then
What
there's
with
even
Snipes in the middle, with his reactions, with
no, meaning that when you go from the front shot to the side shot
Yeah.
to the other side shot to back to the front shot again, their heads are all in different positions. At one point, Statham's looking left, then he's looking right, sometimes he's looking forward. Same with Snipes, same with Stallone. They're all in different positions. There's no continuity. It looks like it's made up from like 5 or 6 different takes that were filmed 12 or 15 hours apart. I mean, it doesn't look good at all. And then there's one bit in a particularly dramatic scene which really bothered me, where Snipes is putting a rag onto someone's wound. That's all I'm going to say. And then in the overhead shot does exactly the same thing again. So, but an editor would have realized, a better editor would have realized that and done it differently. And I think it looks like it was edited in a week by someone who wasn't really paying attention.
Kellen Nuts.
Yeah, Ellen Klutz. I'm going to blame Ellen Klutz for edit. Ellen the cunt Klutz.
Yeah, you don't see that kind of shitty editing in Mononk.
I was drinking water, you fuck. You always fucking
It should have been directed by Jack Tatties. Jack Tatties Expendables.
Yeah.
When Gunnar could not work the computer at the end, it reminded me very much of Charlie Chaplin in Modern Times or Jack Tatties Mononk. Yeah. Gary, say something, sir. I'm worried you've been so quiet. I love having you here, but say something.
No, I think that the idea of the young ones in the movie, like they really didn't matter really, so they were kind of like nothing characters. They were just there for the others to rescue them, essentially. So it's very much old school. I think they put the point across pretty well that old school is better than new school.
It was just done in a shitty way, I thought.
Yeah. I get the editing thing too, by the way, John. It's just, I think your average, novice.
He is from the
You
land.
were right first time.
That sounds like something from Lord of the Rings. He is from the land of Nov. He is novice.
So your average novice action fan will go to the cinema to go see this movie, and I'm sure a lot of folks are going to go to the cinema to go see this movie, by the way, and watch it and not really notice these things. Just like look at the explosions, boom, boom, boom.
I really think they're trying to get the Fast and Furious crowd.
Yeah, definitely. Get the younger people in, and then
Then Doc, they should have made a good movie.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I did like
That's
this.
fine. I think that the PG-13 aspect of it, what did make it bad, I didn't get a lot of CG blood in this movie. And I enjoyed that because I got a lot of that in the first movie. Not that I'm bitching about it. I love to see Stallone cut a guy's hand up and then stick the knife in his chest. That's always a lot of fun to watch.
If only they'd done it to Glenn Powell.
And they kill his dolphin friend while he's at it,
Yeah, stick it right down his air hole.
It just cuts to Statham and he's fucking the air hole of the dolphin.
It's fucking
How'd you like
dead.
them apples, Glenn?
It's dead, but I'm not finished.
And then they're ironically eating a tuna fish sandwich afterwards. Or is it tuna fish?
But,
listen, I think it's going to be great. Hopefully the Blu-ray will have like a different cut in it. Not so much a cut with more blood in it, just one where all of a sudden Stallone will turn to talk to Ellen Klutz and it will just cut all the new ones out completely. And you can see none of them. And I'll be like, that is such a good fucking film.
Yeah, plus a lot of people are talking about the fatherly aspect. Like Lutz is a shadow of what Barney Ross was. Like his character is like Barney Ross looking back as being. But to be honest, although they have also a friendly relationship, there is a Barney Ross the leader, Barney Ross the teacher to kind of like Statham's. Like him and Statham's buddy thing. All the lines where Ellen Klutz was like, why are we going after this guy and what's so important about this guy and blah, 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 Statham could have had. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it didn't really need to be cunty klutz.
Yeah, but then again, Statham knew, like, not like his place, but he knew how to follow orders too. Well, these kids were clearly, you know, just there to say, okay, we're paid to do a job. But then again, why are we here? That kind of bullshit. And
The Alan Klutz character could have worked if it was played by somebody good. You know, you could have somebody come in and sort of, you know, the next guy who's eventually going to lead them. He's got nothing about him.
Who would you cast as like the young-ish Expendables? Like, who's
Fucking
in their place?
me!
Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood.
get off.
Clint Eastwood. Charles Bronson. He's dead. That shouldn't stop them.
Get to reanimate the corpse. Bring it on.
If they're going to have this much CGI in the movie, they could have had a CGI Bronson.
They can reanimate Tupac in hologram form. Why not, huh?
Right, exactly.
I think the only look, my main problem was the kids with this film, and I thought I was going to have a huge problem when Liam Hemsworth was in Expendables 2. I watched Expendables 2 yesterday before I went to the cinema, and Liam Hemsworth is really good in Expendables 2. He delivers lines really well. He tells that story about when he was in, was it Iraq? You know, he was in the war, and it was fantastic. These kids got nothing to do, really. They're just there to get captured.
Also, when Rousey is trying to look all like smug and hard, she looks like an 8-year-old taking a shit. she does that like face, and I'm like, what's all that about, Rousey? Keep your molar.
Well, she's clearly a non-actress. You know, I would say about this. She's a fighter. You know.
She's a good fighter.
Yeah.
She is a good fighter.
I would have honestly preferred the woman from the second one to come back. I would have much preferred that.
Or Gina Carano.
Yeah.
Or Gina Carano. I haven't liked how in press conferences Stallone's been like, well, Ronda Rousey, she's one of a kind. I'm like, Gina Carano, way better actress, way hotter, way better at fighting.
Or Charles Bronson in a And the tash still. Got to keep the tash.
Yeah, definitely.
And Ronda Rousey's character.
I am Kelly Lutz's character.
I used to be a bouncer in New York City.
No, I'm saying, listen, I mean, in all honesty, Chris, I've been thinking about this because someone asked me, like, well, who would you have cast as the young ones? And the truth is, I would have got Rick Mayall, Ade Edmondson, Nigel Plater. No, I'm kidding. That's a young ones joke for anyone that's out there. Yes. No, I've thought about it, and I honestly couldn't tell you because I generally hate actors who are under 45. I generally find none of their movies interesting whatsoever.
Probably 'cause they're smug.
Yeah, they really are. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, this is the main problem with the new Spider-Man, for example, is I really liked Andrew Garfield as an actor until he did the new Spider-Man. But now in the new Spider-Man, he's some hipster, scruffy-haired, cool, smug dick that I just want to punch in the cock repeatedly with a baseball bat. So I don't really, like, there aren't any young actors who are really, not male anyway, I mean female.
I think if you weren't playing Captain America, Chris Evans could have got away with it.
Sure. Oh, someone of like Chris Hemsworth or Chris Evans' age group, like kind of early to mid 30s, definitely. There's plenty of those about. But in terms of if you want 20-somethings,
20's too young. They're not like, haven't got the gruffness, they haven't got the kind of right attitude. They're all like kind of like, oh, tally ho. What we do now?
They've got no world.
Wariness, no like I've seen things, man.
But ultimately, because I'll accept it, I get it. Like he wanted to hire athletes and MMA fighters and boxers and all the rest of it, and I got no problem with that. So
Frank Bruno.
Yeah, Frank Bruno would have been great in the movie.
Chris Eubank.
Yeah, Chris Eubank with his monocle. and his stuff.
Expendables. They'd have to change the name of the Expendables, though, wouldn't they?
Expendables. I am now a member of the Expendables. What? I'm going to buy a pier in Brighton and live on it. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. No, I don't mind them adding the new people. I really don't mind them adding the new people. But it doesn't narratively make any sense the way they did it. They should have just added they should have just had it. We need an army to get Gibson's character and then start to put together an army. Now, if you want like the Gibson grandstanding bits when he kidnaps some people, by all means have him then kidnap the young ones out of that army that they're putting together. That's absolutely fine. It was the getting rid of the old ones altogether and then having some weird emo montage where like Statham is sat on a couch somewhere drinking a beer. I'm like, where is this? I'm like, why is he
and
not
throws a knife at his telly.
Yeah, why is he not with, like...
I think he probably does that anyway, though.
Yeah. But why is he not with like Mickey
Where's the
Rourke?
remote? Oh, fuck it.
Yeah.
Why is he not with Mickey
fuck,
Rourke?
Geordie Shore's on.
But why is he not with Mickey Rourke double teaming Charisma Carpenter? That's what I want to know. Because I imagine when he's
What,
off...
with his dribbly lip?
Yeah.
Because Mickey was too busy double teaming Jessica Alba with Josh Brolin doing Sin City 2.
Yeah, exactly. But Charisma looks behind her. She's like, "Are you dribbling on my back again, Mickey?" He's like, Statham's like, "Stop dribbling on my girl's back."
Just a minute, Mickey. I've got a stamp here.
I'm sorry, I don't do impressions, guys. I apologize.
In the middle, he's like, "I've got to post a letter," and he just puts.
Oh, fucking forgot.
He's got a stamp. He's like, "Dribble on this, will you?"
And do the envelope while you're at it, Mickey. I'm not going to get a paper cut on my lips.
Oh, that is fucking hilarious.
That'll be a deleted scene.
Oh, definitely.
So, okay, so let's try and get back to some good stuff. I mean, apart from the acting and apart from the CGI, which really did bother me, and the editing, I genuinely enjoyed the first action, like, extended sequence, and I genuinely enjoyed the ending, closing action sequence. And actually, having watched the middle again, I'm getting a call or something. What's happening? I'm getting a call. That's really weird. Who's calling?
Jason Ritter.
I don't know who's trying to add themselves, but I don't have the ability. So I don't know what's going on. I honestly don't know what's going on.
This is not Ronda Rousey, is it?
No. Peter Osmond says it has some awful editing, and Robert Long says, when is Michael Caine going to be in the Expendables? I'm not sure who was calling then, guys, but I'm really sorry about that. I don't know what was going on. I don't know how to add you. Nothing's popping up, so nothing's telling me, so I don't know.
I think it's probably Jason Ritter going, The Rock! The Rock!
Yes. It is. That's exactly who it is. I bet you it's Jason Ritter going, The Rock, the fucking Rock! I bet that's what's happening. Exactly. That's my Ritter impression. Probably listening to Hooked on a Feeling and masturbating with Uncle Jeffrey. In his van.
So you're not so John, you're not a fan of The Rock being the baddie in the new one, or if there is a sequel?
No, I think that's a terrible idea. I honestly do think that's a terrible idea. I don't think after Van Damme and Gibson you can go The Rock with the bad guy. I really don't. I mean, if I had my ultimate way, if I really had my wish list, I honestly, and people laugh at me when I say this, but I would honestly have like Seagal and Hulk Hogan as the bad guys, but Seagal would have to agree to take off his weave so that they both
never do that. Never in a million years.
So they both had a skullet. I want the skullet twins. Seagal with his black painted on beard, but his skullet because he's removed the weave, and Hulk Hogan, and they just both sit
And
around
William
eating.
Benders are dad.
But no, I mean, I would honestly, I think, for my taste, the only reason to have Expendables movies is to give work to the guys we still want to see do action. Honestly, I mean, I understand he's trying to experiment. I understand he wants to set up new action stars, but they're just not there yet.
No.
They're really just not there yet. Statham's still got a ton of years in him. I think Couture could probably still do some stuff. Hell, even Van Damme and Lundgren are churning out 15 movies a year. Scott Adkins is like clearly the one who should be the next up-and-coming action star because he's been amazing for 20 years. Darren Shalabi has been amazing for 30 years. Like,
If you need to get young guys in, get Iko Uwais in from The Raid.
right? Yes.
Yeah.
As like Jet Li's cousin or something.
Yeah, I mean, just because, obviously there's probably a language barrier, but he's got a ton more charisma than any of those four.
Yeah.
And they've got people in. I mean,
And don't worry, it doesn't matter about the language barrier. You can just have him dubbed by Roger Moore.
Yeah.
So you have him show up going like that, and over the top it's just like, well, hello, my dear. Could I come in? Should I put on my safari jacket?
I see your name's Barney Ross. You want me to join the Expendables? I'm in. As long as it's poussé.
I'm in, and by in I mean all the way up.
Okay. I'm balls deep in the Expendables.
I also think Brian Blessed should be an Expendable, but as his character from Flash Gordon.
Yes, wings and all.
Yeah.
See, wouldn't Timothy Dalton make a really good bad guy for the next one?
No, Timothy Dalton would make a really good guy. I want Timothy Dalton on the good guy side.
Either way, we want Timothy Dalton in.
Yeah, more than Pierce Brosnan. I mean, I like Pierce Brosnan, but more than Pierce Brosnan, I want Dalton in.
I still like the idea of Cage coming in as a bad guy.
That would be good.
Like,
That'd be really good.
but I want him to be proper like Castor Troy, crazy.
Yes.
Like, arms dealer. That's
And halfway through the film, he swaps with John Travolta.
Yes, definitely, I agree. Oh, hang on a second. We've got more messages. People are actually messaging us on the Google Hangout. Philip says they should get Bill Murray for Expendables 4. And Robert Long asks, what about George Stover? Well, am I the only one on the panel who knows who George Stover is?
Probably.
Okay, well, he's in all of Don Dola's movies, and he was in the first couple of John Waters' movies. And clearly none of you have been listening to the After Movie Diner. Shame on you.
I'm terrible.
I know George Stover is.
Yeah, I know.
I've talked about him before.
Yes, indeed, Doc. But I would have Stover in his... Stover did a movie called Stakes, where he played like a kick-ass priest who goes after some vampires, and he actually wore a beret with like a cross symbol on it and stuff that looks a lot like what Stallone wears. So I'd happily have George Stover in there. Plus, he played a Vietnam vet in Blood Massacre, so he's had the action background. He could make shit out of like paint cans and circular saw blades and things. It'd be really good. I think that's what the Expendables needs as well, because let's be fair, Expendables 3 to me felt like an A-Team episode, like a proper... It felt finally that the Expendables had kind of become the A-Team. So in the fourth one, I want them building shit out of like...
Yes.
They get trapped, they get locked in a warehouse and are forced to build like some awesome battering ram, car, truck, flying beast thing.
Made from the body parts of the young ones.
Yeah, like Mad Max, they strap the body parts and the skulls and things. And
Yeah, Ellen Klutz on the front of the car going, I didn't sign up for this. Shut up.
Shut up. Klutz, you can't. You can't.
I'd just like to say though, I just really want people to... I do want people to see it.
Yes, I do.
I really want people to see it.
I think it will be a success. I think, despite the.
I really hope it is, because I've got to watch it again to really fully appreciate it. My main problem is the middle of the film, the young people. Mel Gibson is awesome in it. He's so good in it. He's a really good bad guy. So different to Jean-Claude Van Damme. In number 2, Jean-Claude Van Damme in number 2 is really good. Really, he's got that crazy.
If 500 grams of plutonium could changed the very balance of the world. Imagine what 5 tons could do. Interesting, yes?
It's just all the shit he does. Like, what's this? The symbol?
Yeah.
No,
I
he
like
goes,
symbol.
I symbol.
I saw the shit when he squares off with Sloane there with a knife. He's like, all this stuff. And all
Yeah,
that.
he just.
is that all it is? I want my money's worth.
Yes.
Yeah. And when he hits him, he goes, "Is that all you got?" Oh, he's so good. But he's totally different, Mel Gibson.
Yeah, but he should be more bad guys Van Damme. But yeah, Mel Gibson again, fantastic.
The best thing about Mel Gibson is like when he's like, how many people do I need to kill 10 guys? And he's like, look, it's easy, and just shoots like 2 of his army members. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I also would have much liked a longer Stallone and Gibson fight. And
Yeah.
shooting each
I'd
other.
have preferred somebody as well who a right hand man for Mel Gibson for Statham to fight. I know he got that really big guy, but we knew Statham was going to beat that really big guy because we don't know shit about that really big guy. All of a sudden, it was like Mel Gibson turned around.
No one beat Statham anyway, did they?
No.
Well, no.
It's going to be interesting to watch Fast 7 because I've no idea how they're going to make it so that he wins without killing everybody. Because he has to win. He's Jason Statham.
I think the last shot of Fast 7 should be like Vin Diesel getting up, The Rock getting up, all sort of back to the bloody going, oh, let's just call it a draw. And just Statham goes, yeah, all right.
Yeah, right then. And then he grabs. Oh no, she died, didn't she? The French bird in the sixth one, didn't she?
He just walks up with Michelle Rodriguez and Jordana Brewster.
Yes.
I'll give them back to you when I'm finished.
You know, he goes. You know how beaten and bloody you two look right now. I'll send them back when I've done that to their vaginas. Philip O'Neill is asking.
Off to Roger Moore's ass.
Yes, off to Roger Moore's house. Philip O'Neill says, what about Carl Weathers? I mean, again, I don't want to get into a whole, like, who should we have in Expendables 4? I've already said it. I want everyone in Expendables. Like, it doesn't matter if they're going to do 4 through 10, 4 through 20. I mean, Avi Lerner wants them to keep going as long as it's printing money for him. But I honestly, if they were in an 80s and 90s action film, I want them in it. I think that the big one missing, the one that's really missing for me, is Cynthia Rothrock. That's the one that's really missing for me. And the fact that they haven't even got her pegged for the Expendables really upsets me.
I'm not sure she's even interested, you know. I don't know, is she?
She is interested, yeah. When I interviewed her, if you can believe this, the writers of the Expendables who are writing a wacky comedy where the women have to dress up as hookers because that's the only thing women can do.
Look, was it directed by someone who's never directed an action film in his life?
Yes, yeah, that's exactly what it's written by the 2 people who wrote, and I'm not kidding, Legally Blonde. So let's just, that's not a joke. That's an actual fact.
Well, no, it is a joke. It's just not the joke we want.
Yeah, and
it's not a funny joke.
It's a fucking joke. That's what it is.
Yeah, and when they wanted to find out about action, because they don't know about action, they went to Cynthia Rothrock's house and like spent 3 days hanging out with her, asking like what she would do and how she would do and blah 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 blah. And they went, oh yeah, it's really funny. We've got a character called Cynthia Rothrock, like in the movie. There's a character named after you. So she was like, great, I really want to be in it. I know Sly, because apparently they were going to work together in the 80s. She said, like, who do I speak to about casting? And, you know, what can we do about it? And they went, oh, not our job. Got in their cars and drove away. So.
Can't.
Yeah.
Very cheap.
So
yeah,
I agree.
Would be a good idea.
Sorry?
So they thought Meryl Streep would be a good idea.
Yeah, Meryl
Cynthia
Streep.
Rothrock.
Yeah. Also, Stallone has said, like, I think we're going to need some MMA fighters or some, like, football players or something to be, like, females to be in the movie because none of the actresses will be able to do it. And I'm like, Stallone, you've got to stop talking like that, man. Of course they can do it. Like, ever since, you know, look at Xena, look at Buffy, look at, you know, the character in just, River in Serenity. Look at.
Think they'd ever cast Sarah Michelle Gellar?
I mean, I wouldn't mind if they did. I don't think Sarah Michelle Gellar has any interest in doing action again. But Mia Jovovich, you've got Sigourney Weaver, even Rona Mitra was in Doomsday,
Yeah.
and
Oh, what's
she was in one of the underworlds as well, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Renamitra? Yeah.
what's that the girl plays Nikita now. He's like he was in Die
Right,
Hard
Maggie
4.
Q.
Yeah.
You've got Maggie Q. You've got Michelle Yeoh. You've got Cynthia Rothrock. I mean, you've got a ton.
Linda Hamilton.
Linda Hamilton. Right.
And Katie Sackhoff. She will do something, I'm sure.
Yeah, Katie Sackhoff, and of course Pam Grier. I would want in there definitely. So yeah, I mean, this idea that
that's just on top of her head, so that's clear that you get like at least, I'm sure, 5 of them you can cast. And then they'd be,
and that's the Expendables without even trying to break a sweat. So you don't really need like this. Well, women can't do action. I think that's very offensive these days. I mean, it's offensive even to me because I love, like, one of the things I actually love is like females kicking ass in movies. I really, really dig that. I like anything like that, and I love old guys kicking ass in movies. I like people who you wouldn't expect initially because of society.
That's why Taken was such a good. Because Liam Neeson comes out, you think that Liam Neeson's this, like, I'm a trained actor, I performed Shakespeare in the park, and all of a sudden he's throat punched.
Well, his character's kind of pathetic, where he's like, he's getting just shunned off by his daughter and his ex-missus, and he's like, when shit hits the fan, he's like, I'm gonna kill everyone, and just that's what he does, and that's what's great about it. Because it's that switch, like, I'm fucking badass now.
Yeah. No, and I agree. I mean, any of these ideas would be great. But in terms of Expendables 4, you could, and we have done on the group many times. We could play this game till the cows come home. There's any number of people I want in Expendables 4. I would take Liam Neeson. I would take Rowdy Roddy Piper. I would take Jeff Speakman. I would take Don. And I would take Dudikoff. I would take Cynthia Rothrock. There's any number of people. I would have fucking Shatner in there, Roger Moore in there, Michael Caine in there. I mean, you name it. I would literally put whoever wants to show up, who's even remotely tied to an action movie ever, I would do it. You know what I mean? If Robert De Niro, when he was working on Grudge Match, said that he might show up, happy to have him out the top of a car with a bazooka like in Ronin. I would have Jean Reno, and I mean anyone you want. I put them all in. I don't care, except Sean Bean. That's for you, Cameron.
He'll die anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can have Sean Bean in, but only if in the very, very beginning Statham shoves a stick of C4 up his ass, goes, runs away, and Sean Bean just blows up.
I know, Sean Bean turns around and goes, it's great, isn't it, being in Expendables? And Statham shoves the C4 up his ass and goes, you're out. Lights it, fucks up. Sean Bean's
Nice.
like, I'm done again.
Explode real good.
Okay, so final thoughts, and let's wrap it up. It's 5:30. So final thoughts on Expendables 3. For me, definitely want people to see it. But Chris, let's start with you again and go round.
I'm gonna say I personally feel as a franchise, it probably is the better as an action film. I prefer the first one because I kind of geek out about the little fights between Jet Li and Statham teaming Gary Daniels, and then there's Stallone facing off with Stone Cold. Those little moments like that kind of make me just like sort of jump with joy inside. I think we need more of those types of things in Expendable films. But as an action film, for me, it worked. It was the most fun. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Doc?
I do agree with what Chris says. I think if you went in not seeing the others, I think you go in and say it's a really great action film. For me, who loves the films, I sort of felt let down with how Sly treated the old Expendables team. It's still a great action film, great summer blockbuster type film, and I'm sure on a second watch I'll probably enjoy it more. But it's still good. I mean, for the final half an hour, it's worth going to see.
Yeah, I did think Snipes get short changed though towards the end. I think he had the first half is like, oh yeah, brilliant, Blade's back, and then he kind of just got forgotten about. I think it was a bit of a shame. But then again, hope he's in the fourth one and he gets plenty.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, again, that was my other problem. Snipes actually says it. He's like, what, you break me out of prison just to, like, cut me loose? And I felt that way. I'm like, why can't he stick around? I mean, the other weird thing about Snipes is he still looks like he did in 1992. It's just disconcerting. But
Yeah, no, he's really good in the film, Wesley Snipes is, and he's a welcome addition to it.
Oh, I tell you, the other youngster I would have in, I mean, relatively young person I would have in
Harry
it.
Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter.
Or the ginger one.
Ron Weasley.
Bloody hell, Barney.
You could have had the French guy from Brick Mansions and District B13.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
But yeah, sorry, Doc, have you given your evaluation, sir?
Yeah, just go and see it, support it, watch it. It is good. It is good, but I've just got a certain problem. And my main problem is just the young ones in it.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand them. That's it.
So, Gary, do you want to let us know what you feel, sir?
Yeah, I feel it. Pretty much the same sentence you guys do. The middle half is kind of weak, but I think the first act and the third act more than make up for it, because you get that big payoff at the end with piles and piles and piles of dead bodies. Towards the end there. I think it's your popcorn action film, and I think if you go to the cinema, you will enjoy it. And I urge you guys to go to the cinema and go to get it from Leroy up the street, because it literally fell into my lap to watch it. And I'm very weak-willed, so I watched it, like biggest action movie of the summer, in my hands. What the heck am I going to do with this? You're going to put it in and watch it, because I'm weak. I'm only a man, and it's yeah.
You don't want to know what I've got in my hands when I've got the biggest action thing of the summer in my hands.
Tell him, John, tell him. No, I'm playing.
It goes in Ronda Rousey.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I can see your gripes with the young ones. They are kind of terrible, but they all have their role to play. I guess except with the exception of Ronda Rousey, who's pretty spectacular. They were fighting, but her acting is very devoid. But yeah, final thoughts. Go see it. Go spend your $10, your $6.50 matinee, whatever you're gonna spend on it. Go see it. Buy the Blu-ray. You'll probably enjoy it.
And when a beard like that tells you to go do something, you better go do it. Gary, in just a second, we're going to come back to you, and I want you to, grab the beard with one hand, point at the screen with the other, and go see Expendables 3. Go on, I want you to do that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3.
Go see Expendables 3.
Yes!
Yeah.
I am erect again. So, my final thoughts. It wasn't the Expendables 3 that I wanted, in all honesty. But saying that, on second watch, it goes by a lot quicker because you're already aware of the arc of Act 1 and Act 2. So therefore, you're not like I was sat in the cinema going, okay, kidnap them. Can you kidnap them? Hurry up. Oh, you've kidnapped them. Excellent. Statham's back. Okay, what's going on? Because that's really, the idea that you tune into the Expendables to see Ellen Klutz is ridiculous. So, I mean, it just let him have his own franchise. Oh, wait a minute. The one film he tried to have a franchise from failed miserably. So let's just, let's just leave him on the... If you can't make an action movie like Hercules or whatever work, then just give it up. But, that bothered me. But ultimately, overall, I think it's a good 3.5 out of 5 overall. I loved the action at the beginning, loved the action at the end. I had some real problems narratively, I had some real problems editing-wise, and I'm also really confused. I don't know what Patrick Hughes is going to do with the Raid remake, because I don't really see... I really liked Red Hill, but I did not like his direction here, so odd, confusing, weird.
It makes me think that the Raid remake's going to be a PG-13.
Or just awful. I mean, it's already pointless.
Yeah.
It's already pointless. Because the other thing that I found out about the Raid remake the other day is that everyone, Gareth Evans, Iko Uwais, the guy who plays Mad Dog, the fight choreography team, everything, is working on the remake as well. So why? We just saw that movie. Anyway. America. But no, in all honesty, go see it. It's a good, fun time at the movies. It really is. Ford is better than you've seen him in a long time. Snipes is back like you want him to be. Banderas has stopped doing art house movies in Spain and come back to the multiplex, which is wonderful. And overall, it's overall, it's a good, thrilling time. So definitely go see it. Definitely go see it. Definitely go pay money to see it. Go see it. Go see it. Go see it. Pam Grier touched this beard, so go see it. And what else? That's about it. I don't think. I was saying just go see it. Pay your money to go see it, even if you've already seen it. And let's make it successful. Not because it's a great movie, but let's make it successful so that we get a better fourth part and we get spin-offs.
Mm.
Well, I want the fourth one to be the old guys, and hopefully, if it makes enough money, the young ones can go off and do their own separate film.
Porn.
Yeah, gay porn with dolphins.
Yeah.
And they can go and make those, and leave the old guys to.
Yeah, they can do like Expendables. Expendables, la 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 la, Expendables. That's what it should be. And they're all just they're like the regular Expendables, but dressed in like little blue shorts and pinwheel hats and things. That'd be great.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Where's Glenn Powell? He's in an elevator shaft."
I think like 10 years from now, you're going to find Glenn Powell in the corner of like a burnt-out mall, masturbating into a top hat, going, "I was in the Expendables once." And then,
What's he been in before?
No idea. Surrounded by cans of like dolphin-free tuna, like hugging it and stuff. That would be great.
I see that future mapped out for him already.
Right. That's what I feel is going on already. So I want to say thanks to everyone who's watching. I can let you know that in the last 10 minutes we've gone from 9 viewers but down to 2. But we've now added another viewer. We've now got 4 viewers. We're going back up again. Maybe they all just switched over for a second or had a very quick wank or something. Anyway.
It was the beard.
Yeah.
It was the beard. The beard frightened them off. They retracted for the beard. But I want to say thank you ever so much, Chris Byrne. Tell everyone again where you can be found, sir.
Yeah, you can just find me on the geeksoapbox.com and you can find all my shit there. Yeah, knock yourself out.
You can you can find piles of Chris's shit there.
Yeah.
And Doc, what about you, sir?
You can find me with him, aftermovie.com, and everything. Doctor Action, the Kick-Ass Kid commentaries related is there. Or follow me on Twitter at Dr. Action Kick-Ass. Boom.
Gary.
Not as smooth as that, but you can find me all over Facebook. Just type in The Bird and the Beard or Cinema Beef Podcast. You can find my links pretty easily that way. And check out the shows. I have a lot of fun doing them, and I'm always looking for guests for Cinema Beef.
Get Chris on.
Yeah, definitely get Chris on. I'm finally get back on that horse again because I'm getting lazy with it. I switched to a 2-film format, so easier for my guests, and we could shit on films for 2 hours or something and have a good time. So
definitely, I'll grow my beard out to kind of it won't be as big as yours, but
Still talking about the beard.
yeah.
It catches crumbs and makes hard to eat ice cream, so I wouldn't recommend it. Okay.
That's all right. Still gonna grow it. Anyway.
Beautiful. That's about it for me, guys.
Sorry.
On Twitter, IGW. There you go.
And you can find me at aftermoviediner.com with my flappy hands. Everything I do, Johnny, is on aftermoviediner.com with the flappy hands. So yeah, but you can find Dr. Action there, you can find Crosstalk there, you can find the After Movie Diner there, you can find Drunk on VHS there. What's the other show I do? B-Movie Bargain Bin. You can find that there as well. You can find it all at aftermoviediner.com. And on there is a link to our Facebook group. Join the Facebook group, you bastards! Also, you can also find a link to patreon.com where you can sponsor the After Movie Diner, become a patron of the After Movie Diner, as I just saw James Owen did. So James Owens, thank you very much for sponsoring the diner, $1 a show. So really, for as low as $1 or 70p if you're in the UK, you can donate to the After Movie Diner per podcast episode, which would make all the difference to the network that we are running. Thank you very much. And good night. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Nice.